Hello everyone, and welcome to another Sunday in the shed. Well, thankfully the week past is behind me now. I had inventory at work, so I was busy counting widgets on Thursday and Friday. Usually I'm a lot better prepared. I like to spend some time in there, go through everything, sort it all out. Get rid of the junk beforehand, just so everything's better organized. If it's organized, it's way faster to count. And I was going to get a, an electronic scale just to weigh the items, to count them faster that way. Of course, that never happened, but anyways, it's done now. Of course, everything's soaked in dust in there, so I spent 2 days rummaging around in the dust. Been coughing ever since. But the weekend in the shed was actually quite enjoyable. I was working on a few projects here, puttering around. The scrappage is almost all gone. I've got 3 transformers left there, and that's it before I pick something else up. Actually, I was in our other shop, dropped some junk metal off there, and I didn't take anything out of the bins there. Well, that's not quite true. Fun little battery. But it was just sitting there, so that was easy pickings. So otherwise, until I get rid of this aluminum I've stockpiled, I've got to pace myself here. We'll see what happens. The stock market didn't fare very well last week, as most of us are aware. See what this coming week brings. Hopefully the markets, investors regain their senses, but never account for financial people giving good advice or being smart people. I find that they just like to run with the herd, even if the herd is going over the cliff. And it's all due to this coronavirus. Now, I'm not an expert on the coronavirus, but I have been following the news quite avidly. So to me, it sounds like the flu, your common influenza, is 10 times more deadly than the coronavirus. But we don't panic over the flu every year. I forget the stats. I saw them somewhere, but in the U.S., I think there's 26,000 people have died already from influenza this year. And I think the total of coronavirus is around 2,200, 2,400, I want to say. So to me, the common flu is a lot more deadly, but for some reason we're panicking. I guess maybe it's because it spreads so fast. I don't know. There's got to be something to it. At least you would hope so, anyways. But the corona has brought a few interesting things to light about China. Because all China's factories and everything are pretty well shut down, the pollution over China almost disappeared overnight. Saw a couple of their satellites or graphics or something before Corona, after Corona. So obviously a lot of pollution is coming out of those plants, much as people would like to blame us over here for a lot of pollution. I think a lot of it is over there, but for some reason we don't want to criticize the Chinese government. Don't ask me why. And also, it's come to light too that 90% of the drugs in the world are made in China now. So in a case like this, where Chinese citizens need the drugs, who do you think is going to get the drugs first? My neighbor over here, he's a retired dentist, and he has to take some drugs for some reason. I was talking this morning, he's already stockpiled a 3-month supply. He went in last week and got 3 months ahead on his prescription. So if you can imagine, I'm sure he's not alone, so if other people are doing that, it won't take long for a drug shortage to develop. So I think the worst part of this corona thing may not be the actual virus itself, but it's maybe the unintended consequences economically and the globalists thought that it was a smart idea to make everything in China. Now all the factories in China are shut down. All those doctors' masks, the drugs, you name it, it's all made over there. So the supply of that stuff is rapidly drying up. But that's just my take on it. So you may or you may not have noticed this exciting latest acquisition over my shoulder here. Just picked this up this afternoon. Went into a neighboring town and picked it up. Actually, I've been trying to buy it for a week or so, but it was hard to connect with the selling party. It's another Facebook Marketplace picture. Who knew? So it seems like every time I go on there, there's something I see. So probably smarter if I didn't go on there, but I never professed to be that smart. So anyways, this is a nice Gordon's sign. It's actually made out of metal too, which is surprising. It's very well made. It's got a little bit of, got wet down here a little bit, it looks like, but might be able to take it apart and clean that up. I've actually already had it apart once because it's got a rotating Mylar film inside there that gives it a bit of animation to the sign. And I'll show you what that looks like. So it gives the effect of this shimmering in the background to highlight the Gordon's London Dry Gin. So I thought that was a pretty good acquisition. The price was right. Now I just got to find a place to put it. But that's secondary. First things first. Acquisition first, placement afterwards. Not really a huge, I like the subject matter, but I'm not really a huge fan of gin, to be honest. I think it dates back to the first recollection of myself ever getting drunk. It was on Gordon's Lemon Gin. I can almost still taste that, like 50 years later. I think that was the first and only time I ever drank that lemon gin. I don't mind a gin and tonic with some lime once in a while, but that's about it. So, that's a good segue into our beer of the week. So this week we've got Crest Premium Lager, brewed with best quality barley malt. Super. I guess that's because it's 10% alcohol. Well, where's the swill made here? Oh, it's from the UK. Crest Brewing Company, Bedford, something something, UK. Yeah, it's not too much of a write-up on it. So it just says brewed with best quality barley malt and the finest German aroma hops. I guess they're making their statement with the 10%. Our beer stands on the alcohol. Lager. Yeah. That might be a little bit darker for some reason, but it doesn't smell overpoweringly hoppy. Not bad. Yeah. Taste the hops on the back end. It's a bit sour because of the hops, but willing to overlook that due to the added value of the 10%. Not bad. like I say, just a bit sour, a little more sour than I usually like them, but I'm sure after 2 or 3 cans of that, you'd be the least of your worries, the sour taste. So if any of my friends over in the UK can let me know if that's a popular beer, or never heard of it, or, oh, we never drink that stuff. Anyways, it'd be interesting to know. Extra strong beer. Says it all right there. Yeah, see, every sip it starts getting better and better and better. So I have a little video yesterday. I was smashing up all those fluorescent sockets. Like I said, it was kind of tedious. Like I likened it to shelling peanuts by just cutting them up with the side cutters. So I decided I'll smash them in the bucket. So Ian Matthews wondered what state the bucket was in afterwards. Well, you know, it's got 1 or 2 holes in it. Not too bad, though, considering the beating it took. These plastic buckets are nearly indestructible. I would say that in 1,000,000 years, when everyone is long gone and forgotten, these plastic buckets will still be blowing around. So the only, that was the pilot version of smashing those things up. Worked not too bad. The only problem is it's got some ribs on the bottom there, so there's a bit of a flex when you hit it with my socket masher. There's a bit of a flex there, and that's just enough that you lose some of your smashing action. So I have to keep my eye open for some kind of a cast iron, or even like a 10-inch pipe with a blind flange or something. Or actually some stainless steel pipe with a bottom in it. Anyways, yeah, I'm still working on that. As I said though, that there's still, actually this plastic is actually getting heavy. Tons of those things. And I've got a whole mountain of old fixtures there at work there. I was cutting the wire out of them, so I think I'll cut the rest of those sockets out. Just because. Actually too, if you had some kind of a roller set up too, you just run them through some rollers and crush them up. That would work too. So as I was busy Friday counting all my widgets, tedious job that it is. First, a guy phoned me, a guy I worked with for years in our other office, phoned me up. Last day at work, he retired Friday. So, you know, you're wish him well and everything. You're trying to be sincere, but, you know, you're kind of upset because he's going to be sleeping in this Monday and you're going to be back at work at the crack of dawn. So no sooner hung up with him than another guy phoned me from a building company. I'd worked with him quite a bit over the years. And he phoned me up to let me know that Friday was his last day of work too. So I thought, you know, what is this? A conspiracy? Everybody around me is retiring. But in Glenn's case, he was 69 years old. So I said, you know, Glenn, you've put in a darn good working career. So I think you deserve to retire. The other guy, I'm not so sure of. He's younger than I am, so I'm not sure that he was all that deserving. But of course, you know, being the person I am, I wish them well and hope that they have a long and wonderful retirement. I guess I'll just keep working. Ooh, yeah, it's really getting good. So that's about all the excitement here from the old shed. I'm going to finish my super tin beer. And that'll probably be it for the evening. Got to watch my favorite programs on tonight. The Curse of Oak Island. They're gonna have every square inch of that island dug up pretty soon. You know, they're finding all kinds of neat stuff, but not really valuable, you know. Kind of stuff, you know, I might find at a garage sale type of stuff. maybe a little bit older, mind you. But anyways, they just keep on digging. So I think even now, like I think I've said this before, if they found a spectacular treasure, they're probably at the point where they'd only break even after all the money they've spent digging there. But anyways, to me it's entertaining. I like that show. So on that note, I will bid you all adieu, and I hope everyone has a great upcoming week. And for all you newly retired people, I hope you enjoy the day off, Monday. So that's it for now. Cheers.